Hey, it's Dan Lier, #1 best-selling author and the most requested speaker in Las Vegas. As we close out the year, today's message is about keeping your dream alive. As my good friend Rudy would say, it's always too soon to quit. So this message is really for entrepreneurs, salespeople, and people that have dreams, that have big goals and dreams that they haven't quite yet achieved. You know, you must keep your eye on the ball and keep your dream alive. Over the last year, I was very blessed. I did over 65 paid corporate events this year. And during that time, I had a couple up-and-coming speakers approach me about breaking in the business. You know, how can I become a speaker? One guy was a corporate sales trainer or a corporate trainer, and the other guy was just a guy who wanted to become a speaker. And before I tell you the story, I'm going to educate you on two types of speakers. First type is called a public speaker. And that's the kind of speaker that you might go to a weekend seminar on wealth building or achieving your dreams, and you pay a certain fee and you go to the seminar. You might be one speaker or multiple speakers, and you're coming out of your pocket and you're paying to go educate yourself. And that's a public speaker. That's an event that's open to the public. The other kind of speaker is called a corporate speaker. And a corporate speaker is a speaker that gets hired by corporations, companies that put on big national sales meeting for their employees, or kickoff meetings, regional events, or leadership trainings for their corporation. That's called a corporate speaker. That's what I do. I get hired by companies around the country to do national sales meetings, kickoff meetings, or regional sales events, or leadership meetings. And so these two up-and-coming speakers, they wanted to become corporate speakers. So they came to me, asked my advice. How can I build my business? How can I create my brand? How do I break in the business? I gave them some advice. I told them how I did it, and I gave them some advice on what I think they should do. And as the year's coming to a close, I spoke with them both over the Thanksgiving holiday, and they were both very frustrated because things weren't just happening. Now, mind you, it's been less than 1 year. And so I really had to remind them of my story and about keeping your dream alive and keeping your eye on the ball. I mean, I've been doing what I'm doing since 2000, the year 2000. When I started, I was doing my own public events. What that means is I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I would go out to car dealerships, real estate agents, mortgage brokers, stock brokers at the time they were called, and I would go into their meetings and do free sales meetings with the intent of selling tickets to my own event to them. So I would walk into a mortgage company, and there might be 10 people in there, or there might be 20 or 30, and I would do a 30-minute sales meeting, and I would outline a seminar, a success seminar featuring Dan Lier, and I would sell them tickets to see me. Now, let me tell you something, that's a tough deal. And I did that for 3 years. I packed my own events, and that was a tough deal though. And in the meantime, I was doing some consulting and personal coaching, and it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I really got focused, and I said, you know what, I want to build my corporate brand. I want to become a corporate speaker. I want to get hired by corporations because I didn't want to promote my own events anymore. And so I really learned the business, not learned how to be a speaker. I knew how to speak. I was speaking all over the world previously. So it was about learning the business of how to be a corporate speaker. So obviously I updated my website. I learned everything about SEO and about indexing. I started making videos and creating a list of people that I would send these videos to every month to build value. I wasn't selling anything. I wasn't selling books or tapes or CDs or weekend events. I was just marketing myself and creating a brand and building value. I was having to go sell myself to speakers bureaus because that's how corporate speakers get hired. Corporations call speakers bureaus to book speakers. So I had to call these speakers bureaus and tell them who I was. And I mean, I had 2 books out. I had been traveling around the country. I had been doing events for Robbins in other countries. And I had to sell them on who I was. And I was just one of their 1,500 speakers. And I had to create a promo reel and a one sheet. I had to build my brand, and I was the only personal development guy that's ever been a regular on HSN, and all those things I had accomplished, and I was still having to sell myself in that market space. And I just kept rolling. I just kept making the videos, and I kept making the blogs, and I kept making posts. And things started happening. I started getting booked, and I started getting referrals, and I started building my brand. And just this year, in 2016, I've done over 65 paid events. And so the message here is you've got to stay focused. Things don't happen overnight. You know, whether you're a real estate agent or a mortgage broker, or you're starting a new business, you're an entrepreneur, or you're chasing your dream, you want to be an actor, or you want to write films or produce films, it takes time, and it takes focus, and it takes consistency. Today's message is about keeping your dream alive, and it really comes down to three things. Number one is no matter what you do, like I said, if you're a wealth advisor or a real estate agent or you sell insurance, you've got to own a piece of your market. And what I mean by that is if you're a real estate agent in Philadelphia, then own part of your market. Be that one top guy or that top woman that when people look for a real estate agent, your name pops up. They might see you all over the place, or they see your videos, or they read your blog posts, or you're adding value. Own a piece of your local market. I mean, you can't go national until you own your own market. Secondly, you've got to have a marketing strategy. You've got to market yourself as one of the top players, as the best, or as the most effective. And what are you giving? What's your value proposition? You've got to market your value proposition, not just another real estate agent and not just a speaker. I help companies drive more revenue. I help leaders lead. I help people earn more income. I help salespeople grab more market share. And that's what companies want. You've got to market your added value piece. What's your value proposition? And number three is you've got to be consistent. You have to do it every single week, every single month, and just keep on rolling. I mean, today's world is so different. You've got things like Instagram, and you've got Facebook, and you've got Twitter. And you can't just post something once a week or once a month. You've got to do it every single day. If you're making videos, you've got to have a schedule on when you're going to do it, whether it's once a month, once a week, whatever your schedule is, just be consistent. In summary, three things you got to do. Number one, own a piece of your market. So no matter who you are and what you do, go grab a piece of your market. Be the best or one of the best in your market. Number two, marketing. What's your marketing strategy? What's your added value piece? What's your value proposition to companies or people who might hire you? And number three, you've got to be consistent. You can't just do it once. You're not able to do it twice. You've heard the old saying, you just don't go to the gym once and you're in shape. You've got to be consistent. So as we close out the year, my message is if you haven't reached your goal yet, you haven't reached your dream, keep your dream alive. And like my friend Rudy said, it's always too soon to quit. So close out the year strong, keep your dream alive, and make it happen.